Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Prasanti Mataji, whenever you are ready, you can start Mataji with prayers.
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Prabhupada and Gurudev. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhatreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Today we are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 52, Rukmini's Message to Lord Krishna, from text 1 to 15. Text 1. Sukadeva Goswami said, My dear king, thus graced by Lord Krishna, Muchukunda circumambulated him and bowed down to him. Then Muchukunda, the beloved descendant of Ikshvaku, exited through the mouth of the cave. Text 2. Seeing that the size of all the human beings, animals, trees, and plants were severely reduced, and thus realizing that the age of Kali was at hand, Muchukunda left for the north. Text 3. The sober king, beyond material association and free of doubt, was convinced of the value of austerity. Absorbing his mind in Lord Krishna, he came to Gandhamadana mountain. Text 4. There he arrived at Badrikashrama, the abode of Lord Naranarayana, where remaining tolerant of all dualities, he peacefully worshipped the Supreme Lord Hari by performing severe austerities. Text 5. The Lord returned to Madhura, which was still surrounded by Yavanas. Then he destroyed the army of barbarians and began taking their valuables to Dwaraka. Text 6. As the wealth was being carried by oxen and men under Lord Krishna's direction, Jarasandha appeared at the head of 23 armies. Text 7. O king, seeing the fierce waves of the enemy's army, the two Madhavas, imitating human behavior, ran swiftly away. Text 8. Abandoning the abundant riches, fearless but frightening fear, they went many yojanas on their lotus-like feet. Text 9. When he saw them fleeing powerful, Jarasandha laughed loudly and then pursued them with charioteers and foot soldiers. He could not understand the exalted position of the two lords. Text 10. Apparently exhausted after fleeing a long distance, the two lords climbed a high mountain named Parvasarana, upon which Lord Indra showers incessant rain. Text 11. Although he knew they were hiding on the mountain, Jarasandha could find no trace of them. Therefore, O king, he placed firewood on all sides and set the mountain ablaze. Text 12. The two of them then suddenly jumped from the burning mountain, which was 11 yojanas high, and fell to the ground. Text 13. Unseen by their opponent or his followers, O king, those two most exalted Yadus returned to their city of Dwaraka, which had the ocean as a protective moat. Text 14. Jarasandha, moreover, mistakenly thought that Balarama and Keshava had burned to death in the fire. Thus, he withdrew his vast military force and returned to the Magadha kingdom. Text 15. As ordered by Lord Balarama, Raivata, the opulent ruler of Anartha, gave Lord Balarama his daughter Raivati in marriage. This has already been discussed. Thank you, Prabhuji. Sorry, reading mistakes in between.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Prashant Mataji, for reading the translations today. Yeah, Hare Krishna, dear Kiran Prabhuji, please accept my obeisances. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Yeah, whenever you're ready, please start, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, please accept my humble obeisances to all the people who joined this Zoom call. Thank you, Prashanti Mataji, for reading today's Bhagavatam slokas translations. Thank you, Sundaranand Prabhuji, for giving me this opportunity to give the overview of today's Bhagavatam slokas. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Let me start with quick prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chikshurunmetam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः जय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्री वासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम राम हरे हरे. So today we are reading from Canto 10, the Samam Bonam. Last chapter we discussed about the deliverance of Muchkunda, and in this chapter we start with Rukmini's message to Lord Krishna, and I am dealing only with the first 15 slokas, and the next couple of chapters we have the Krishna, how he kidnaps the Rukmini, and then the marriage, divine marriage of Sri Krishna and Rukmini, the goddess Lakshmi's incarnation and Rukmini happens. So this is like almost a bridge between to the next stage. So the context of today's overview begins with immediately after the destruction of Kalayavana, and he blesses the king Muchkunda. So from that point, when Krishna left the cave, the chapter starts. So meanwhile the situation in Madura is still, it is surrounded by Yavana's army. Around 2 or 3 million Yavana's barbarian army is there at Mathura, and because he flew from that war battlefield, the Krishna also called a Ranchor. So he was running away from the war. So, and Jarasandh was preparing for 18th attack, massive attack this time, more than like he did 17 attacks earlier to this, and he's planning for the 18th one. And also the transitioning is happening from Mathura to Dwaraka, how Yadus are instantly they moved from the Mathura to Dwaraka will be also happening. So the stage is set for the next major pastimes, and that is like how Rukmini contacts through letter to message to Krishna, or love letter to Krishna we can call. So these are the verses show how Lord moves from one divine activity to another with perfect timing and purpose. So the important theme of today's overview is the Lord perfect arrangement, how Krishna creates the stage for the Rukmini's arrival will be seeing in today's slokas. So major like three interconnected themes if I talk: Krishna's protection of his devotees, and Lord's playful and human-like behavior, and the transition from Mathura pastime to Dwarka pastimes. So this is like a bridge between Muchkunda's deliverance and Rukmini and Krishna's divine union. So in the first sloka, the Sukadev Goswami continuing with the Maharaj Parikshit and telling that being graced by Lord Krishna, the Maharaj Muchkunda circumambulated Krishna and bowed down and paid his obeisances. Then, who is the great person born in the Ikshvaku dynasty? As we know, the Lord Rama also belongs to Ikshvaku dynasty. It is one of the Sun dynasty's exalted personalities. So he exited from the cave, from the mouth of the cave. And in the second sloka, when he got out from the cave, he noticed the surrounding things like human beings, animals, trees, plants, and he was surprised to see their all size was reduced. And so thus he was realized that the age of Kali is very fast approaching and it is near the end. So this happened at the almost end of the Dwapara Yuga. So and Muchkunda left for the northern direction. So what is the significance of this? There is a English translation or meanings for the word kusallaka. So it means that little, small, low, vile, poor, indigent, wicked, malicious, abandoned, hard, pained, distress. So these are the qualities mentioned by Srila Prabhupada in his purport for this sloka. So these are the symptoms of Kali Yuga, and these qualities apply to all kinds of animals, human beings, plants, trees, whatnot. So we can understand how how the earlier ages of Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and or even Treta Yuga, all the yugas are how living conditions are how superior and how the sizes are different, and the age is also different. In the Satya Yuga, people used to live, the humans used to live 100,000 years, and it is reduced by 90% in uh, Treta Yuga, so there are 10,000 years, and in Dwapara Yuga it is 1,000 years, and in Kali Yuga it is 100 years. So it reduces by Yuga by 90%. So at that superior living conditions and superior beauty was there for the environment. So in the last line of this sloka, Jagama Disham Uttaram. So he went towards north direction. That means, so what he is saying is, in India, we have in the north the Himalaya mountains, the Mount Everest, the mountain ranges. So they are the beautiful peaks and valleys where we have quite hermitages, and they are very suitable for austerities and meditation. So in Vedic culture, generally, if people are going to north, means they are renouncing the comforts of the society and going to progress their spiritual advancement, or going to the Himalayan mountains to practice serious austerities. That is the understanding we have to take as per the purport of Srila Prabhupada. So, and in the next sloka, we are after seeing the Lord Krishna. So the King Muchkunda, beyond he is now beyond the material association, and without any doubt he understood the goal of his rest of the life. That is, he understood the value of austerity, and he is fully convinced, and only absorbed completely in Lord Krishna, he came to Gandhamadana mountain. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says that this Gandhamadana mountain is a place where we have delightful fragrances, natural fragrances, like filled with aroma of wild flowers, forest honey, and many natural scents. Even maybe sandalwood, trees may be there. So a lot of natural fragrance are there. So in Sloka 4, continuing, he arrived finally at Badikashram, the board of Lord Naranarayana Rishi, where he is tolerant to the dualities of the nature, like winter and summer, or even happy and distress. So he is now tolerant to those dualities, and he peacefully worships the Supreme Lord Hari, the Krishna, by performing severe austerities. And meanwhile, the Lord returned to Mathura, which is still surrounded by the Yavana army, because he fled from the battlefield and went to the cave. The cave is supposed to be in Rajasthan. So he went from that Mathura to that place. So he has to return to Mathura and take care of this barbarian army, which is in millions, more than 2 millions or so. So it is clear that how he clearly roped the Kalayavana and pursued to follow him to that cave, and finally, he was by the sight of the uh, Maharaj Muchkund, he was burned to ashes, and how that he killed the Kalayavana. In that way, the death was decided for the Kalayavana. So when Krishna returned, what are the immediate task is to destroy the Kalayavana's army, which he did with Lord Balrama. And they, generally in the olden days, when they go with this much of army and when they go attack the other people, other armies, they take valuables also with them, and many valuables are also there in the battlefield, found from these you know soldiers or whatever is there. So they are in the sloka 6, they said that as the wealth was being carried out by oxen and men under the Lord Krishna direction, and suddenly the Jarasandha appeared ahead in front of them, like with a large, huge army, 23 Akshonis of army. So generally, Akshoni army is like one major military unit, which has, I was just, searching in the Google and understanding how much it will be the strength. Generally, they talked in Mahabharata, around 218,700 warriors will be included. And in that one, there will be like 1:1:3:5. So one will be the charioteers, that is like 21,000 approximately, and elephants will be at 21,850, and horsemen, the cavalry, so 65,600, and infantry or foot soldiers around 109,000. Total it will be like 218,000, and it is 23 actions. When Jarasandh first attacked Mathura, he attacked with only 13 Akshonis, and you can imagine 10 Akshonis was more than the first time he attacked the Mathura. And we know all in Mahabharata Yuddha also there are total 11 Akshonis for Kauravas and 7 Akshonis for Kauravas. So it is only 18. But this time it is even more than the Kurukshetra war. The soldiers have come to attack the Mathura. So you can imagine how that uh, army was for the Jarasandha. So he and by seeing that army, the Krishna and Balrama actually, his Prabhupada calls like two Madhavas. Because Balram is also expansion of Krishna only, so they are like running away. They are acting the fearing the fear. So, in the one instance, if you remember the Damodar Leela also, the Lord Krishna showed his fear. Actually, he pretended that he is fearing, but originally he is fearless. You know, the Krishna is fearless, but he also pretended here that he is running away with the fear. So they were running very swiftly, imitating the human behavior, and they climbed the Mount Parvasana. So what happened here is the Jarasandha laughs at this one in the sloka 9th, and he called them cowards because he was totally blinded by his pride. So generally, pride blinds intelligence, and Jarasandha cannot understand the Lord even after 17 defeats. So this is the height of the pride. So we can understand. And at that time also, the Krishna, if you see, according to Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Madhura, he entered around 10 years, 7 months or so, and he got the Upanyanam from Gargamuni, and maybe 2 months and 64 days. I think he finished all 64 arts, and like in the Sandupani Muni's ashram. So maybe around 11, and he sent even in that time Akrura to Hastinapura to evaluate the situation, understand the situation of Pandavas, the young Pandavas, and Uddhav also carried the message to gopis. So these all things are happening at that age, around 11 years or so, and in the Madura he spent maybe 20-25 years. So he's still like in 35-36 years at that time. So he's in young age only when compared to 1,000 years expectancy years of Dwarka Yuga. So actually, the Krishna lived for 125 years, but so this is like early on only. So around that age, he was fleeing for long distance. So this Parvasana mountain is almost like a 90 mile, almost 11 yojanas. One yojana is approximately 80 miles, and we don't see those type of mountains now. So that in Radpara Yuga we used to see that type of big mountains. So he climbed that. There was a pastime where Lord Indra also showed incessant rain on that mountain. So we have to understand this. Krishna is fearless, but he pretends to fear for his pastime. So the real reason, the guru says that, sages says that Krishna want to marry Rukmini, so that is the real reason. So that's why he was pretending fear and running away from this Akshunis area, Jarasandh. So, and also you want to move the Madura pastimes to Dwarkam, pastimes. You want to move the city overnight, instantaneously, and we'll see a beautiful chapter at, story of uh, Lord Balrama's and Revati's marriage in the last sloka today. So before that, we just continue with our 11th sloka. So Jarasandha decided, saw that these are climbing the mountain, and they are hiding in the mountain, and all the soldiers went to trace him, and nobody could trace him. Obviously, without God's will, nobody can recognize them. So what Jarasandha thought, we'll put a firewood on all sides of the mountain and put to the fire, place them, So he tried to, burn the lords. But even in that exhausted stage, they, not only they quickly climbed from that mountain, they jumped off to the ground from that 90 or 88 miles of height mountain. So you should not think that this is not common or possible for normal human beings, because we should see from it is a pastime of a supreme personality of Godhead. So we should not observe as an ordinary human being point of view. And they are quite young, as I told, around 35 years, which in Dwapara Yuga is not considered the middle age at all. And so they are capable of doing these type of activities. And so we must understand the inner meaning of why he did. So the higher purpose, what is the higher purpose? To marry the Rukmini and set stage for the next divine activity. So we should not misunderstand like Jarasandha did. He was just thinking they are running away, ridiculing Krishna and Balarama, and trying to set the fire and try to burn them to the death. But that is not going to happen, and they safely returned to Dwaraka. And Jarasandha assumed that these people are burned in the mountain, and he tries, in the sloka 12, after like jumping down to the ground, and they escape to Mathura. And in 13th sloka, unseen by their opponents and followers, uh, they went to the return to the city of Dwarka, which had ocean as a protective moat. So was in the ocean, the Dwarka, the newly built, and in the overnight, instantaneously they moved from the Mathura to Dwarka. So now, as usual, with the pride, he was, Jarasandha was mistaken that Balrama and Lord Krishna was burned to death in the fire, and he withdraw his vast military force and return to Magadha kingdom. So he is back. And then now the ending is we have to understand the transition, the Balrama's marriage. So text 15 talks about very briefly about Balram's marriage to Revati. So this is is just beginning for the introduction for the Rukmini's episode. So what we have to understand is, in the earlier ninth canto, this was described elaborately, and uh, we uh, we talk about going back very briefly to the story. One beautiful reflection of this marriage, divine marriage of Revati and Balrama, is like how, like, we understand the time difference, the important difference, and destiny and supremacy of Lord's will, like how it can change. So there was a king named Kukudmi, the son of powerful Revata, and had a daughter named Revati. She was not an ordinary princess, but she was extraordinarily cultured, virtuous, endowed with all divine qualities. So, as a responsible father, this King Kukudmi wanted a suitable husband for this Revati, his daughter Revati. He felt nobody, in the earth right, at that time, suitable prince to qualified enough to get marriage. So he made a bold decision. He is having that ability also. So he thought, I will go and ask the secondary created Lord Brahma himself. I'll travel to Brahmaloka and seek his advice. So he traveled to Brahmaloka at that time, and he has the powers to go there. So when Kakudmi arrived at Brahmaloka, and Brahma was in the middle of the music concerned by Gandharvas. So out of respect, the Kukudmi has to wait patiently, maybe around 20 minutes of approximately, if I calculate the Yuga time. And the conclusion of the concert ended, and then he paid obeisances to Lord Brahma and asked, please advise me, O Lord, who is the right husband for my daughter? That is what Kukudmi asked Lord Brahma. So, hearing this, Lord Brahma laughed at him, and it is not for mockery, but it is out of compassion and astonishment. He said, "Dear King, the princess you have in your mind, they're all gone. Your entire dynasty have disappeared. Why? Because the time flows differently in Brahmaloka. So the short time you spent, roughly 20 minutes, less than 20 minutes, but for the Gandharva concert, that was equal to 27 Chatur Yugas. So four yuga cycle is itself is around 4 million approximately years on the earth, and you can think of 27 into 400 and 8 million years have passed roughly. So everything what you know on the earth has already vanished. So this is the powerful demonstration of time relativity between the Satyaloka and Bhuloka. So we can understand actually in Devaloka we have like 6 months day, 6 months of earth time is equal to 1 day, and one night is equal to another 6 months. Like, so one complete day in Devaloka is like 1 year on the earth. So that is the relativity at the time. So he tells a very important instruction Brahmadeva tells, okay, don't worry. This Lord Brahma told that the Supreme Lord himself had descended on the earth, and you give your daughter Revati to Lord Balarama. He is the perfect husband for your daughter Revati. So this is the instruction of Lord Brahma to Kukudmi. So he, by getting the instruction from Lord Brahma, he returned to the earth, and obviously he did not see his kingdom. Everything was vanished, and land was overtaken by other races, other rulers. So, but anyhow, following Brahma's instruction, Kukudmi approached Lord Balarama, So Revati, living in that yuga, she was extraordinarily tall and powerful. So far beyond the present Dwapara Yuga where Balrama and Lord Krishna is there. So what Lord Balrama did is he used his plow weapon and gently tapped her shoulder, adjusting her height, form to match the standards of this Dwapara Yuga. So in that way, she became the normal and suitable wife for Lord Balram, and he has given marriage with Lord Balrama. So what we understand from this is Lord personally arranges beautifully everything. He makes his devotees fit for his service. Nothing is impossible for Krishna. That is what we need to understand. And like time is not absolute, that we should also understand from this pastime. And destiny unfolds under the divine supervision. And so here Rahu could search entire universe but could not find the groom, but finally Supreme Lord himself was his bridegroom. So Lord just adjusted everything for his devotees, like we saw how Balram adjusted Revati's physical form. So our duty is just to follow the instruction, and here Kukudmi followed Brahma's instruction without argument, and his perfection also followed him. So that is the takeaways. And if you to just quickly, very simply, I want to highlight what are the learnings today we learned. In collaboration with Bhagavad Gita also. Just take our points. If I quickly tell today is what the Muchkunda spiritual awakening. Just a person wakes up from the long sleep, suddenly realizes that what truly matters is spiritually seeking, after seeing Krishna, when Lord enters his heart, what is lesson he learned? He learned the lesson of detachment to the worldly life. So he immediately went to continue the spiritual progress for the rest of the life. So the danger of ego, that is another lesson. We saw the Jarasandha's blindness. So he is a proud man. So he even defeated 17 times. He couldn't understand the powerful Lord Krishna and Lord Balrama. So we saw Krishna's retreat strategic actually. When we play the chess also, sometimes chess masters, I play the chess, I take back the steps to make a bigger one. So it is not the weakness, but it is a part of the strategy. So in the same way, this taking back or retreat is divine planning. It is not the fear. We should understand that. And Krishna clears the path for blessing the devotee. So just like gardener removes the weeds before planting a flower, Krishna removes obstacles in the path of the devotees for higher blessings. So he has a divine planning behind every pastime. So just like an artist, when he is trying to prepare a drawing or canvas, he prepares the canvas board. So in that way, he does everything. It is not accidental. He is a perfect artist. So we should not misunderstand the Lord actions. So although Jarasandha thought Krishna was defeated, but it is impossible to think that a sun is defeated by a cloud. So like that. So sun, cloud goes away and the sun will get the sunshine again back. So in that way, we should understand this. To protecting the devotees, he can go to any extent. The strategy he did, instead of not fighting with Jarasandha, he moved away from that. Krishna protects with the perfect timings. He removes us from the place. And so many Bhagavad Gita slokas also I can quote when we are doing this one. Like, for example, the first one, if I remember quickly, in the right stage, like in Sthita Prajna Lakshana, chapter 270, Isha Brahmi Sthiti. So in that, when your steadiness in the spiritual path is there, you will never fall back. Like Muchkunda goes back to Badrikashma. He did not go and again wanted to be king and rule the world. No, so like that. So in the another sloka in the same chapter, Prasadam Adhikachati, a devotee finds peace only in his spiritual life. So that is also understood. So when like in even the famous sloka from 9th chapter, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Yajana Paripasate Tesham Nityabhyuktanam Yogakshemam Vahamyam. So he personally take cares and personally arrange protection and necessities for the his devotees, right? In this case, Yadus, and he moved from the Mathura to Dwarka. So like that. And if you talk about the spiritual intelligence, is blinded for Jarasan because he has the Dambho Dharpo Abhimanascha Krodha Paurushaya Vasa in 16th chapter. That was another sloka in the Bhagavad Gita. And his running away strategy is not weakness, we should understand. So sometimes he has to, like some in 4.6 also, he tells that ajopi san yavavatma bhutanam ishropi san prakritin swamadhisthaya sambhavamatma mayaya. So he tells that his own spiritual energy is running from this running pastime is not due to fear. So it is there is a higher purpose for that. So that is it. And many people misunderstand that, like human-like actions by Krishna's human-like actions. So he is also Jarasandha also thinks in that way. So always remember that we know Kaunteya Pratijanaihi. So in that my devotee never perishes. So Krishna protects Mathura and Yadavas through his strategy. So ultimately we have to understand that we have always remember Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Chaduskam. So he always protects his devotees. So that is the main purpose of his descent or appearance on this earth all the time. So we should not forget that, and always pray Krishna, never forget Krishna. And that's how I like to end today's, and with the final conclusion message. What I see today is how Supreme Lord arranges everything with perfect timing. It's always, confuses the demons or demonic people, but it protects the devotees and it prepares for the next stage for his divine pastime. How he guided Muchkunda, we saw. How he protected Yadus, we saw. What was coming next. So when we hear these type of sacred narrations with the faith, our hearts become purified. So our intelligence becomes sharpened, and we will be ready, just like to invite Lord into our lives and surrender. So please forgive me if I speak anything wrong or mistakes hurt you. Thank you all for listening. Your servant and servant of Krishna. Thank you. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमः। रंध्रा श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा।
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Prabhuji.